Welcome back to Whiskey with E. I'm Eric. Now today, a whiskey without the E. We are going to be trying one of the Games of Thrones selections. So whiskey without the E, it's a Scotch. Alrighty, so pretty much the Games of Thrones selections is what got me into whiskey collecting or down the whiskey journey to begin with. Because during COVID, what else did you do? So you started exploring and wanted to start collecting things. I'm sure every collecting thing was booming at that point. So what do? You Googled up something like whiskey collections or what to buy to collect or something, and Games of Thrones stuff was popping up. Now we've already tried the Lagavulin one, so today I figured we are going to be trying the CARDHU Gold Reserve Single Malt Scotch Whisky House of Targaryen, or House Targaryen, Fire and Blood. Alrighties. So the Games of Thrones selection, like I said, was what got me into whiskey collecting. Now, one of the bottles fell down and broke. That was a bit sad. I drank the Orban, the Dark Watch one, or the watch. The box is up there. We'll have to show it 2 years later. But I drank that with my father. He enjoyed that. The Lagavulin I got to try. So now I figured we may as well try this. Now, some may say, why are you opening it? You should probably want to keep collecting it, or maybe it's getting harder to find. That could be true thoughts, but I don't think it's one of those gaining in value type of ones. I mean, if you were a Games of Thrones fan, then maybe this would have got you into whiskey to begin with. Leave it in the comments if this got you into whiskey as well. I mean, I wasn't really much of a Games of Thrones fan, but I did start watching it, and boy, there's some scenes there. Aquaman, what a barbarian you are. What a barbarian. But the mother of dragons, I mean, she's very beautiful. She's pretty hot. And I believe this is her house. So, you know what? Let's try this. Since it's like this is what got us into whiskey to begin with, I figured, you know what? We may as well crack one open and give it a try. So, now, the rest, I'm not so sure. Now, these, if I was to replace this, I could probably still replace it if I wanted to still fulfill the set. Now, keep in mind, the set, if you buy it individually, it's still affordable, all right? Compared to nowadays, Diageo sets, they're all like the more cast strength limited releases, you know, each year, that maybe you won't even get to complete the set, because there could be those bottles that are like a few $1,000s, you know, the ones that we really probably want to try but we can't afford. So that being said, this is probably one of those affordable sets, but let's see if it's even going to taste nice or if it's worth buying. But I think if you're buying this, you're probably a fan of Games of Thrones. But there is no age statement on this. It is bottled at 40% alcohol per volume. So I do have memories of seeing a CARDHU Gold. So I think in the future I am going to buy a CARDHU Gold just to compare and see if it even tastes the same. Now, I'm aware that a select cast from each distillery would have been selected to make all these bottles. Now, I believe they would have added in the caramel coloring or something, because all the bottles are just so beautifully the same colored. Keeps it uniformed, I guess. But that being said, we're just going to get into the whiskey. So, you know what? Maybe we'll open this up and we'll have a little read at the back. So I pretty much got these during COVID. So those times when these were on the shelf, I even bought the whole stand back. See this stand right here, guys? That was from the store. That used to hold all the Games of Thrones whiskies. I pretty much bought heaps and said, you know what, can I have the stand? And here it is. Alrighty, so there were like deals going on back then, like 3 bottles for 200, which was awesome. But enough of the jizz jazz. Let's get this open. We're going on for too long. Here we go. Uh-oh. Alrighty, it's twisted, it's off. Oh, kind of want to make a nice rip. Alrighties. Pause for the cork pop. Here we go. Oh! Now, this being one of the first bottles that I've bought in, you know, like to start off the collection, this is really significant, but I figured, you know what, it can still be replaced. There's certain bottles that I've bought now that isn't even limited edition or anything, but we may eventually learn to realize that that's probably harder to find than this. But let's pour some up. Oh my goodness, ignore the dirty glass. Alrighties. We're gonna have to put a cork on that so I don't kick it over and spill it or something. Maybe we'll put it up somewhere safe, like up here, if that's safe. Alrighties. Nope, that's not safe. We're just gonna chuck that over there. Alrighties. Now, the color. Obviously, we're not gonna really judge the color. It just looks like a nice golden caramel E150 color. Does look a little bit thin, but let's see how the legs are behaving. Alright. I mean, it could be oily. You know what? First impressions, or should we read this first? Maybe we'll have a little read while it opens up a little bit. Alright, so at the back it says, House Targaryen, the only house in possession of fire-breathing dragons, has proven its resilient nature throughout history. Through fierce determination and force of will, Daenerys Targaryen walked through fire and emerged at the head of the greatest army the world has ever known. Under the black and red banner of House Targaryen, she marches towards the Iron Throne, and her rivals bend the knees to swear their allegiance to the Mother of Dragons. Fueled by this same fiery spirit and courage to conquer all challenges in their way, Helen Cumming and her daughter-in-law, Elizabeth, were pioneers in the male-dominated whiskey industry during the 1800s, largely responsible for the early success at CARDHU. This single malt Scotch celebrates these legendary women and their unwavering perseverance with a liquid that's rich in texture and balance of sweet fruit, dark chocolate, toffee, and spice. Alrighty, so released back in 2018. So alright, just me reading that just then, so I see where they're trying to link this. Okay, the House of Dragons being, you know, led by the Mother of Dragons being a woman, and CARDHU has a history of women pioneering the whiskey industry, leading the charge, so I can see that. But I was thinking something like Fiery Dragon could be something real big, bold, and peaty or cherried or something. But I see where they're going with this. Anyways, we're not here to judge the marketing or where they're going with that. Let's just judge the whiskey. Alrighty, here we go. On the nose. So, no peat. So for everyone that doesn't know, peat is that smoky kind of note. You know, it's what they use to try. You can have to type up all that shenanigans if you just want to know that. But let's just say there's no peaty elements. There's no smoky elements in this. This is more rich and fruity, let's just say. What kind of fruit? I'm getting like an apricot / peach. Yes, you're getting some vanillas and the caramels. Almost like a maybe the apricot is jizzled in some kind of sweet honey. Let's just say it's really inviting. If you're new to Scotch, I'm sure this would not scare you away. I mean, it is only 40% alcohol per volume, So it shouldn't be too bad. But you know what? Let's give it a taste. I don't want to bore you. Let's get right into it. Who's tried CARDHU? Who likes that distillery? Who's tried their products? Or who likes Games of Thrones? Let me know in the comments. Here we go. Cheers, everyone. Okay. Well, typical of scotches, it is cereally. I don't know what to call it. It's probably the barley. You know, it's malty or something. You got this fruity, malty characteristic. I mean, the honey does come through. The apricot, ever so slightly. I mean, it does drink a little bit hot, but I wouldn't say it's, you know, like spikes or burns or anything like that. But you know what? That was just the first sip. Let's see how fast it is before we acclimate. Here we go. Second sip. Here we go. Cheers, everyone. All right, let's just say there's like a little bit of a peppery spice that just comes on right at the back end, but then it just rolls over to be creamy and I guess fruity again. But there is like a bitter kind of oaky char element to this. You know what? Because the legend says we should always add in some water, maybe we can unlock something. Normally I probably wouldn't, because you know I like to enjoy something, but I do understand you can tone down that that ethanol vibe and get deep into the core. So let's add in a few drops of water, but before we do, let's get how our minds feel. Or maybe we should do 2 glasses. There we go. Yep, so typically, like, to me, this is more Highland. I don't know if this is a Speyside or a Highland. Single, no. Because normally when I think Speyside, I'm thinking more like green apples or something like that. This to me has like a more of an American oak kind of Highland vibe. You know, it's more, you got more of that vanillas, the caramels, but you got those apricot-y, peachy notes. And this is what typically Australian whiskey is aiming towards too, that I've noticed. A lot of Australian whiskies are in this kind of direction. So if anyone's ever wondering, how's these Australian whiskies? I'm not speaking for all Australian whiskies, but typically it is in this direction. But anyways, let's have a little sip and we'll add in some water. Here we go. Cheers, everyone. All right, that was a little smaller sip, obviously, but it feels like we're acclimating already. You know, it's not harsh, it's not going down rough or anything like that. It almost starting to feel just smooth. I don't want to say going flat, but it's kind of feeling that way. But you know what? Let's add in a little teaspoon of water. Just a few drops for me will do. I don't want to drown it too much. Let's see what adding in the water does. Alrighties, let's see if it unlocks any flavors. As they say, flavors could be unlocked because it's all buried underneath all that high strength alcohol, or maybe you gotta tone down that ethanol to bring out some of the flavors that are maybe hidden in the glass. But I think it's more for bourbon, Scotch personally. Hence why I'm doing it now. For Ralphie's sake. Nah, for science too, guys. And we need to see this for ourselves. So here we go. And cheers, Ralphie. Cheers to YouTube community. Much love to you all. Let's see how it goes on the nose now with some drops of water. Here we go. Okay. I think it took away all the fruits. Alrighties, yeah, so pretty much all that vibrant fruity notes, it just went away. I don't know if you guys get this from this CARDHU Gold, this expression, if anyone else has done this. And it's almost like it just becomes more cereal, if that makes sense. More honeyed cereal is coming out. Alright, so drops of water does really change things in that perspective, but how's it going to go on the taste? Cheers everyone, drink responsibly. Well, it is 40% and we did add in some water, so definitely going below 40% now. Alright, here we go. Interesting. I'm just gonna have another one. I started thinking like, maybe all that bittery kind of barrel or something just toned out. I have to go for another one. Sorry guys, this is live, this is unedited, unscripted, just going with the flow. So here we go. I'm gonna have another sip with the water. Here we go. Yeah, to me, I think it really did take away the more punchy dynamic of it, but it did take away the bitter barrel kind of bitter vibes. All right, I have to pour up another one because to me the bitter vibes disappeared and then it just became cereally. Very interesting. There you go, guys. Add in some water to see how much it changes and let me know if you enjoy it with the water, or because I think maybe an ice cube might drown it too much, but if it is cask strength or barrel proof, that could be a different story. Oh, here we go. Alrighties, here we go. Maybe we should do 2 glasses for science. For science! We chuck the other glass here. It's a bit dirty looking. Ignore the dirty looking glass. Alright, so 2 glasses. How am I going to remember which one's got the water and which one doesn't? Well, let's say the one closest to me is the one with the water. Here we go. Alright, that's enough water. Right hand, well, I don't know how it looks to you guys. Is that my left? My right is with the water, left without the water. Here we go. All right. What? Get out of here. Okay. Yeah, so the vibrant, the fruity notes is all there, but you are getting that ethanol heat coming through. So maybe that's the whole point of adding in the water. It tones down that ethanol heat for you to access those notes a lot more easy, but all right. But to me, this is like apricot and peaches or something real vibrantly fruit. And this went more dark, like prunes or raisins. What? Same thing, same liquid, just with some water. This is for science. Let's have a sip of the non-water one first. Here we go. Cheers everyone, drink responsibly, especially if you're doing this. Now when I say apricots and I say honey and caramel. You have to dig, but you are getting it. But essentially, if you are a non-aficionado, you're just going to look at it as whiskey vibes, but it's just not smoky, it's not peaty, and there's nothing offensive about it. But there is a little bit of a bitter note that comes on, like a pepper spice almost. You know what, let's check that out again. We're going to focus on the back end. Yeah, so essentially front end to the mid palate, it just rolls over so smooth. It's just all that, it's more sweet vibes, guys. It's sweet vibes, it's creamy almost, and then it hits this bit of a heat, which could be a spice heat, could be the alcohol. There is a little slight bitter vibe there, but you know what, let's try it without the water. With the water, sorry, it's affecting me. All right, drink responsibly all. We're not going to finish this, obviously. This is for science. We'll continue this later, reviewing a cigar, because we may as well try light up something new that we haven't tried and pair it up with this. But trying it with the water, here we go. Like, yes, if you didn't have it side to side, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So that's why I'm saying this is really good for science, guys. If you just had your one glass and you were nosing it and you drip some water in, you'd be like, oh yeah, you're kind of going off memory and you're thinking, oh yeah, it's not that much different. But to be honest, when you're doing it this way, you are getting a slight more difference. You can actually notice it a lot more. But anyways, I'm blabbering. Let's have a sip, guys, with the water. Who likes to add in water? Who doesn't? Let me know in the comments. Cheers, everyone. Maybe the sweetness is coming out more with the water, because there's no little bit of the that heat that comes on right at the back palate. So then maybe it just makes it more enjoyable for someone who doesn't enjoy that heat or that bit of the prickle. So adding in the drops of water can tone all that and can get you to access certain flavors that are otherwise hidden from all that ethanol that's burning your nostrils. Alrighties, you know what? This has been a great experiment. Like, comment, subscribe. I mean, I had to try this, guys. I had to try this, and you know what? We are definitely going to grab a CARDHU Gold, because, I mean, essentially this is just a CARDHU Gold Reserve. There's no legal thing to what CARDHU Gold Reserves mean. It doesn't mean it's a golden reserve. I don't think it means that anyways. Just like the word rare. Watch out. Doesn't mean anything either. Alrighty, so there you go. I mean, alright, we're gonna get into the whole sides of things of, do I recommend this? I mean, I do not know what this is costing right now out in the world. I'm assuming it's gonna be $100-something. Given nowadays whiskey prices, I do not know what the actual standard release of the CARDHU 12 is costing at the moment. Maybe it's at $100-ish. Let me know in the comments if you guys know, because it has everything to do about that. But even the standard release has an age statement. This doesn't. So maybe that being said, maybe I don't recommend you to get this if you are not a Games of Thrones fan, or you haven't already bought it years ago and reviewed it like everyone else. This is just because essentially I got into whiskey to, like, it was during COVID, guys. We wanted to try tuck things away or try save. What else could you do in those times? Couldn't really go out anywhere. So there you go. Couldn't really travel to bottle-os, so I decided to bring that selection to here, and here we are. in 2023. But this is what started it all, the Games of Thrones selections. But do I recommend you go out and hunt for some Games of Thrones selections? Is it going to gain in value? You know, no, unless you got it when it was $200 for 3 bottles like me, and if you had a liquor license and you're trying to sell whatever it is, you know, like that they're quoting for these, then it's probably not going to be too profitable, because it's one of those limited edition releases that it's not too limited. Limited edition could mean millions of these released, who knows how many sets, right? But was it a nice experience? Yes, this was a very awesome experience. Obviously, always good to try something new, get to experience it. Now, I hear CARDHU may also be an element in a Johnnie Walker Black Label, so that being said, I can get the element. Like, the Johnnie Walker Black Label has elements of this in it, but obviously it has a more smoky vibe to it. So that could also be a future video too, if you're able. This is the whole art and journey of the whiskey, guys. When you are getting into it, you can eventually work out what goes into a Johnnie Walker Black Label, what single malts, what components, and then it could be a little experiment for you to be able to pick out the little components that is all blended into a Johnnie Walker Black Label blend or something. But this has been a very fun video. I'm starting to blab now. This video is going for too long, but let's just say if you've hung on for this long, I appreciate your company. Like, comment, subscribe. I definitely probably should start some Patreon things, so maybe we can get supported along in this journey. It's an expensive journey, guys, but I'm just sharing my thoughts. You know, I was never in this for the money or anything. You know, I'm just a man on a journey. Thought I'd come share my thoughts, but let's just say cheers all. Let's have a final breakdown. I've already broke it down. I'm just gonna have a sip. Cheers, everyone. It's acclimated now. Even that spice, that little bit of that bite on the back end is not even there in the non-watered version. How's the water version gonna be? Let's go. I swear it's more honeyed. Man, that is weird. More honeyed and more cereal or something. Alrighties, we are going well past 27 minutes. Alrighties, it has been a lovely time. Much love to you all. I will catch you all next time. Next video, we are going to light up a Monte Cristo. We are going to pair it up with this, see how it goes. Since we know how it tastes originally, it's going to be interesting to see what the Monte Cristo Petit Edmondo is going to do to the liquid. And this is the journey. Pairing, just trying, adding in water. It's all a journey, guys. Alrighties, I'll catch you all next time. See you all.